for a whole bunch of reasons. The college teams in the state of North Carolina, outside of Duke, not playing great, getting smacked. Carolina, meaning the Panthers, playing great. We got undefeated college football players deciding to put their team on blast and stop playing.
It's like we're in the upside down of Stranger Things.
Our pets' heads are falling off. There's just feels kind of crazy, right? Well, guess who it feels crazier for? The people inside the locker room in Raleigh and Chapel Hill. Talk about feel like you're in the upside down. The big question is, how do you get back to normal? How do you bounce back if you are the NC State defense after Clemson just boat raced you 28-0 at the end of the first quarter? How do you get back to normal if you're UNC's defense and you just gave up 70 to a group of 5 team? And more importantly, how do you not allow that game to be a turning point? We talk a lot about turning points positively, right? Andy Dalton shows up, and all of a sudden, this could be a turning point.
Major turning point.
Well, the thing we don't talk about as often is turning points can happen negatively, too. You can be UNC 6-0 and going towards being a nationally ranked team and talking about ACC, and then all of a sudden there's a turning point in the opposite direction, and your season could fall apart. How does NC State and UNC not only do everything they can to make sure they're better this weekend, but how do they do everything they can to make sure this isn't a turning point where the defense starts pointing fingers, where the offense maybe starts pointing fingers at the defense? The stakes are high this week for UNC and NC State. Make sure it isn't the moment where you look back and say, that's where the wheels fell off. If to bring it all the way back down to like a analogy, very like one game. Make sure that game that you gave up near 60 to Clemson isn't the pick 6 that Grayson McCall threw against Tennessee, where it's like, all right, it's not perfect, but you're in it. It's not perfect, but you're in it. It's not perfect. Ooh, now you're down by 40. Make sure those losses isn't that. Those are brutal losses, and you can't sugarcoat it, which is part of the problem. Listen, I work in sports media. We see every spin zone possible. You can watch it. Well, actually, that loss was a good loss because I'm seeing some saying that the Chicago Bears not having a running game like at all through the first couple of games, it's a positive because now they know DeAndre Swift isn't the guy and they can turn it over to Roschon Johnson, their backup running back. Spin zone. There's really no way to spin zone the 2 losses we watched over the weekend. You need to change something. But at the same time, you can't change everything. Do you flush it? Do you do the whole, we're not going to watch the film that we talk about, where you're going to go burn the film and try to just move on without really addressing it? Or do you harp on it and make it motivation? Do you put the final score, 70, in every defensive player's locker room so they're every day before they go to practice, they know what they're working against? Right now, and I would say like Wednesdays are, I talk about Wednesdays a lot. Wednesdays are very internal on a football team. This is where your coach has to know your team. I talk about one of my favorite sayings. It's one of the best ways that I understand coaching at all levels, and it was told to me by one of my assistant coaches in college. It was the bear and the hare. The bear and the hare. I'm going to explain it for you real quick. I may have done this before, but for those of you that haven't heard it. Everyone in this example, every player on the team is a fox. Some are motivated by the bear chasing it. Some are motivated by the hare, the rabbit, they are chasing, right? So bear or the hare means some players you need to motivate with fear. And what does that mean? Well, if they make a mistake on the field, you throw your headset, you get in their face, you scream at them, you motivate them because they're somebody that can take hard coaching. Then there's somebody that's motivated by the hare. Right? They don't need the bear chasing them. What that means is they make a mistake, you put your arm around them, you say, it's all right, you're going to do better. And then when they make a good play, Oh, goodness, you throw your headset up in celebration. You do a chest bump with them. You praise them, and they will chase that feeling forever, the bear or the hare. Well, guess what, Dave Doeren? You better be right when you're ruling with fear. Because if you listen to his media comments earlier this week, what did he say? Every position on the defense is being considered. Every single one. Every job is being considered, which means none of your jobs are safe. Dave Doeren, we have the audio for you saying just that.
On defense, yeah, every position group. I mean, it's a team game. You know, they all got to play better. It always starts up front, you know, the defensive line getting knocked back and when they're on the edge, being on the edge where they're supposed to be. Linebackers need to communicate better to the front. I thought we tackled really poorly at different positions throughout the game. Can definitely play better at strong safety and nickel. There's a lot of competition that's going to be on that defensive field this week. A lot.
That to me is motivating with the bear.
Oh. You never feel good when your position that you play gets called out. You're like, oh, strong safety. Wait, I play strong safety. Wait,
yeah, we need
wait,
to be
coach,
better
I play
on the
nickel.
way.
I'm a defensive line. Oh, no.
That's ruling with fear. That's You better be right. You better know your team. Your strong safeties better be the type of people that hear their name called out in the media and don't go, man, forget this coach. They got to be the type of people that hear their name in the media and go, I'm going in early tomorrow because coach isn't going to say that about me again. You could lead with the love. You could lead with the people that are motivated by the hair, right? Hey, guys, that wasn't us. I know you're better than that. That's an aberration. Let's kick it. Let's move on and focus on being better in the future. There's no one way about this, which is not a good sports radio. Normally you just yell and scream about this is how. No. Every team is different. Every player is different. And unfortunately, like if you play a game and every game somebody's going to have a bad. I don't care. Like somebody on Clemson had a bad game. Somebody on James Madison had a bad game. A lot of people on their defense actually. But somebody on James Madison's offense had a bad game. So James Madison, they just got to figure out how to motivate that guy. UNC has to make a bunch of decisions. All right, how do we motivate this end? How do we motivate this defensive tackle? How do we motivate his backup? How do we motivate the linebackers? How do we motivate the safety? All the way through. And matter of fact, Dave Doeren did give someone some praise. It was Shirley, the backup defensive lineman. I think his last name was Shirley. And the reason why I bring that up is because Dave Doeren said, oh, he's a guy that played well. Isaiah Shirley is his name. According to Corey Smith of Pack Pride, tweeted this out 2 days ago. Dave Doeren mentions Isaiah Shirley as a late standout that will get some more playing time as a result. That's some love there. It's not just scheme and X's and O's. It's not. Coaching has never been just that. The motivation element comes into play. And sometimes when you get your tail kicked, the way that both of those teams, particularly on defense, got their tail kicked over the weekend, it's 100% about the mental side. To go full Yogi Berra, it's probably 90% the mental side. The other half's physical. So you still have to fix the scheme. Don't get me wrong. There are flaws there. But this stakes, these high stakes for this upcoming weekend for both teams, I think have a lot to do with the aura of these teams as much as they do the ability to play football. You better figure out what is the best course of action to get your team back in the right headspace, because I've seen two teams that were not in the right headspace on Saturday.